Hey everybody, Dr. Hasanalu here. How you doing? Dr. Hasanalu. I said that kind of unclearly. Let's get rolling. So, just a couple things I wanted to talk about with chapter two. So, if we go to the textbook on page 41, it talks about the correspondence theory of truth, and this it gives it a kind of a revised definition. That's why CP1 is talked about. And it says a proposition is true just in case it describes things as they actually are. So let me sort of unpack a couple things about that. I'm trying to keep these videos short for you. Um, so I give you a little bit of explanation. So we'll see how far we get because I tend to go on and on too long. I know that's hard to believe. So I got a couple things here to get going. So get we'll start from the top here. So the first thing, if you looked at it, it talks about propositions, and you want to distinguish propositions from sentences. So what is a proposition? A proposition is the meaning of a sentence, right? So if I say snow is white versus Schnee ist weiß, that's some German. Auf Deutsch sprechen Sie auf Deutsch, right? These are two different sentences, okay? Because the sentence is the thing that you say. It's the sounds that come out of your mouth, the ink on the page or the pixels on the screen, right? So, when you talk about sentences, you can talk about the number of words and how big they are. What's the font of this sentence? What color are the words of this sentence? That's how you can think about sentences, right? So this is a different sentence because it's got different words. This is in German and this one's in English. But Schnee's is just the German way of saying the same thing as this. So you can say that these two different sentences share the same meaning, so they express the same propositions, same proposition. And so right out of the gate, you get something very peculiar, mind-boggling, and interesting about this. Because on the face of it, the a proposition is something that a sentence expresses. So then you got to get at like, well, what kind of thing is a proposition? And the answer is it's an abstract object, okay? And that is because the relationship between a sentence and what it means is abstract, okay? So the idea here is, think about that, like this word, coffee cup, right? Coffee cup. Let's just go there. Uh, that means or refers to, right? The word coffee cup refers to this. So that is the phrase or the two words coffee cup mean this. Well, that's abstract, right? It's not like you smell the fact that the word coffee cup means this, or you see it. It's not like there's a string attached from the word to what it means. The relationship is abstract. So you want to distinguish abstract objects versus concrete objects, right? So, um, coffee cups themselves are concrete. I can see this, I can feel it. So when I say concrete, I don't mean the building materials. I mean something that takes up space and time, something that you can trip over on the stairs, something that has weight, right? But abstract objects, they're very real because meanings are very real. In other words, if you thought that by coffee cup I meant this, which is like this little bear, this is just random crap on my desk. Is it a fact that coffee cup means this, but doesn't mean this? Answer the question. It is. Well, it's an abstract fact, and that's because meaning is abstract, right? That's the idea. You want other examples of abstract objects? Think of numbers. Numbers are abstract. That was what you saw. Um, numbers are abstract. Sorry for my messy desktop workspace. Um, you see this, right? But that's not a number, that's a numeral. That's an Arabic numeral, right? Uh, Whatever the number two is, it's what this and this both refer to. This is a Roman numeral, okay? And it's a sign that we use to refer to the number two, right? This is not the number two. You understand this as two because you already have a grasp of the number two, right? There's a sense in which this is two. There's a sense in which it's one. It's one pair. What about all the cells that this makes up, right? That has billions or something like that, right? So there's a sense in which this is a billion things. So how many things this is depends on how you slice it up. That's not a good thing to say when I'm talking about my fingers, but that means how you conceptualize it, and that means how you apply a concept of a number that you already have, right? So we can talk about where you get that concept. The short answer is it's innate, but that's sort of not important right now. The idea is just to get you to warm up to the idea of abstract objects. And that is because critical thinking deals with abstract objects. So this is where like people who have this childish view of facts, that the only kinds of facts are things that you can see, that's why people think philosophy is like all opinions and there's no right or wrong answer, because they don't realize that philosophy is very factual. It just deals with abstract reality. And abstract reality is something you have a very clear grasp of. You just don't maybe recognize it as much. Numbers are abstract. Meaning is abstract. I just gave you that. Geometrical shapes are abstract. That's what this is an allusion to, right? That's not a triangle. You've never seen a triangle. Why? Because triangles are abstract. Think about the definition of a triangle. A triangle is a three-sided figure that has interior angles that add up to 180 degrees. Well, that doesn't have interior angles that add up to 180 degrees. If we had a sensitive enough instrument to measure that, it would be a little bit off. It would be like 179.999999999 or 180.0000000000001 or something like that, right? It would be a little off. So is a triangle a three-sided figure that has interior angles that add up to kind of 180 degrees, or is it on the dot? Which one? It's on the dot, and that just doesn't exist in nature. I mean, it's kind of worse than that and even more obvious that that's not a triangle because look at the outside of it, right? It's joined by that. Well, that's not a line. Okay. You've never seen a line. Lines are abstract. You want to talk about what a line is, or think about the shortest distance between your nose and the tip of your finger right now, wherever your finger happens to be. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see a line here? Is anybody like on mushrooms or something like that where you're hallucinating? No. I mean, that's very real, that shortest distance, but it's not something you can see. What shape is this? It's a long, thin rectangle, right? I mean, how wide is that rectangle? It's probably, a little bit over a few millimeter, or a fraction of a millimeter, right? And it's like an inch long. So are triangles that you draw on the board or see in textbooks or on this page, are triangles three-sided figures joined by three long, thin rectangles? Is that the definition of a triangle? No, it's not. And so that's the only thing that you can see. So triangles are joined by lines, lines are abstract, therefore triangles are abstract. Okay, that's the point. So, so the point then is that sentences express meanings, and these meanings are propositions, and propositions are abstract. So warm yourself up to the idea that abstract reality is a thing, that abstract reality exists, and you will make a lot more sense of what we're getting at in this class. In getting good at thinking, in getting good at critical thinking and understanding how to think, you are going to get good at dealing with abstract reality and how it works. Okay, so that's a very, very crucial aspect of propositions. Okay, so if that's sort of, hard to get used to right away, I kind of understand it. But the fact is, you've never seen a triangle, you've never seen numbers, you've never seen meanings, but yet you have an understanding of all three of those things. They are facts. So what kind of facts are they? Abstract facts. Okay, and that's what philosophy deals with. Okay? So that's the first piece. So then, going back to that sort of um, definition of correspondence theory of truth. Just one more thing here. I got a few more minutes I can use. He talks about it. Where is it? Um, I think it's up here. He does it sort of quickly. Yeah, it's right here. So he's a mistaken objection to the correspondence theory of truth on page 39. What that's getting at is something called relativism about truth. He may have mentioned it other places. Um, Forgive me if he does, but um, there is one place where he gets at the basic idea. So what I'm trying to say next is that's just another example of two different sentences with propositions. That's in an earlier version of the lecture I was giving. Uh, just get that out of here to clear your head. So the correspondence theory of truth denies relativism about truth. So relativism about truth would say this: there is no such thing as objective truth. That's the relativist view. So we're dealing with facts here. Okay. I'm not talking about my feelings when I say coffee cups mean these kinds of things, or 2 + 2 is 4, or a square has 4 right angles on its interior. I'm not talking about my perspective or my culture's perspective. I'm talking about a fact. Okay, so it deals with objective reality, and that's what critical thinking addresses. That's what you're going to get good at, is getting at those kinds of facts, right? So there's a sort of, again, another very childish, I'm sorry, but we live in a culture where we have the intellectual, um, you know, capabilities of like a 5-year-old, and grown ass men and women say things that are the kind of thing that you should know when you're about 10. But this is one of the things you hear. There is no truth, dude. It's all relative, bro. There's no such thing as truth. Okay? It's all just opinions. Like we're in the post-truth, era, right? You can just believe whatever you want, and that makes it true. Again, dangerous, childish, really stupid way of thinking. Sorry, I know that I'm supposed to be more delicate with that, but it just is. And the reason why is that when I say this is true, right? I'm not talking about my perspective or my feelings. I'm talking about a fact. I mean, that's the basic idea. We can talk about which things are facts versus not. That's a little bit more difficult to understand. But the idea that facts exist, right? That's not difficult. That's all I'm saying. So what I'm saying is childish is to deny the existence of some facts. Okay. So hopefully that sounds less condescending, right? But like you hear people say that, well, there's no such thing as truth. They're just true for me, true for you, and so on and so forth. Okay. So what's the problem with that? Well, it's like this. Believing in relativism is self-defeating. Okay. Because suppose someone said, I'm a relativist, and then they assert there is no such thing as truth. Question for that person. Okay. Is that true? The one that I've just highlighted there. Is that true? Is it true that there's no such thing as truth? What are they going to say? Okay. So the assertion that there is no such thing is either true or false. Okay. If it's false, then it's false. Right? So if I say there is no such thing as truth, and I say, is that true? They're like, no, it's not. I'm just playing with you. I actually don't think that's true. Well, then it's false. And then the idea is that, well, then there is such thing as truth. So in other words, if this is false, then what follows is there is such thing as a truth. And that's what we all know. Okay. But here's the thing. If it's true, then it's false. Right? Because what if I say, there is no such thing as truth? And I say, is that true or false? And they say, it's true. it's true that there is no such thing as truth. Well, then they've just contradicted themselves, right? Because they've said that there is at least one thing that is true. So like if another way of putting it is that if I think there is no such thing as objective truth, then I think that over here is this is the objective truth box, right? And I'm saying that, or the objective truth box, and I'm saying it's empty. There's nothing there, right? But if I say, is it true or false that there's nothing there? If they say, well, it's false, then it's filled, right? So that's BS. But if they say it's true, then I put one truth in the objective truth box, don't I? So then it's not empty. So either way, it has to be false. Relativism is self-defeating, okay? It cannot be true that there is no truth, okay? So we're going to be dealing with objective truths. Again, I hope that that's pretty clear. It's childish to not believe that there is no objective truth. I mean, people who want to believe there is no objective truth, they're probably real assholes and they just want to get away with being assholes and they're in denial about what they do and how it affects other people and themselves. So you can just deny that anything is true and get away with a whole bunch of things, right? But if you believe in facts and you believe in truth, then you're going to like this class because that's the kind of thing that we're getting at. And the only other thing I wanted to say is that the kind of truths that we're getting at, they're abstract truths. That is not as easy to come warm up to, but I tried to give you a little bit of a hint of it right now, okay? But we'll be dealing with that more and more as we go along. And I'll look at some of your responses to the discussion forums and we can deal with any questions you have there. All right, that's all I have for you. Take care, y'all.